In 1926, George Samuel Clayson published a series of parables that are set in the ancient city of Babylon. These parables became a book called The Richest Man in Babylon and has become a classic in financial literature. If you've never read the book, you'll be blown away by the tried and tested lessons it presents for accumulating wealth and riches. The story begins with a character called Pansier, who was a chariot builder, and Kobe, who was a musician. The two had become the best at their craft, yet they were poor and had no money, so they went out to seek the advice of their childhood friend Arkad, who in contrast had become very rich and amassed large fortunes. Arkad was the richest man in Babylon, and despite spending liberally and giving generously to charity, he seemed to have an endless amount of gold, and his wealth kept growing. So Arkad told his two friends a story. He said he was once a poor man too, a poor scribe actually, who made a deal with a rich man to find out his secret to wealth accumulation in exchange for his work on a clay inscription. Click the subscribe icon on the bottom right to join Lukxury and realize your potential. Click the bell icon to get a notification when I make a new video. I want to, before we start, congratulate you for taking the time to invest in yourself, which is something few people actually do. Law number 1. Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. The rich did not get richer by spending more than they afford. They got rich by saving at least 10% of their wealth to use it in places that would produce more money. This law is similar to the principle of paying yourself first. A lot of people complain about the little money they have and about the fact that they live hand to mouth. But this is because they buy things that are not necessary. If they were to assess where their money was going, they would realize that what takes up most of their expenses are things such as getting the most expensive name brands or getting the most luxurious car to impress your friends, and those are the sort of things that are pulling them down and is a huge toll. So before you pay your rent, utilities, mortgage or Netflix, set aside at least 10% of your salary and put the money into a savings account. But you must have an end goal. You need to know what you are saving for. You need to be saving the money in order to invest it and allow it to produce more money. By saving and investing, you can take advantage of the most powerful tool that is just under leverage, which is compound interest. If a major financial crisis were to occur, such as a large medical bill or car repairs, you won't need to get a loan to pay it off because you would have money in the savings account, although it would mean that you'd have to start over and save again. And once you have saved enough for investing, this would bring us to law number 2, which is gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. The richest man in Babylon learned early on how money works and how to put his money to work for himself. He was able to control his expenses and learn the difference between necessities and luxuries, which is something the poor struggle to learn, but learning the difference is easy. If you only want it but do not need it, then don't buy it. It really is that simple. And as your savings increases, you can start looking for profitable investments that you understand and are simple to put your money into. And there are many investments for you to put your money into, such as real estate, bonds, stocks, businesses, and so on. The key is to invest in what you know and understand. You should see your money as people you send out to get more friends, and the more people you send out, the more friends they will come with. If you are making sound investments, your money will come back in abundance. Although, if you do not know what to invest in, this would bring us to law number 3, which is gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. Listen, you work hard for your money, so why would you invest it in the next get-rich-quick investment that you hear about on TV or from your friends? Would you really trust your inexperience to make investments, which is what many poor people do? What always happens is they lose all their money or realize it was a scam. The rich, however, seek advice from professionals who are experts in the investment they wish to invest in before making any major investments. Just like you wouldn't trust a heart surgeon to perform a neurologist's job, do not trust people who aren't skilled in the way of making and handling money to advise you of where to put your hard-earned money. You and I both have had people tell us how to use our money even though they do not have knowledge or proper experience in that field. Law number 4. Gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those who are skilled in its keep. This law would be best explained using a story. Using my friend, let's call him Bob. Bob has used Law 1 for a year now and has now saved $20,000 in his savings account. He has also been watching videos, TV and courses made by gurus that supposedly have a way to help him triple his money in less than a month. We have all heard these get-rich-quick schemes before. You got to buy this sort of real estate, or you need to invest in this cryptocurrency, it's where everyone's at. Which is exactly where Bob put his money, and just like all the other poor people, he ended up losing all of his money. I guess no one told him if it's too good to be true, it normally is. The basic rule of investing, like I said earlier, is if you don't understand it, don't invest in it, period. But if you are very interested in an investment you have little knowledge about, seek knowledge about it before you invest in it. This is what Bob should have done. Instead of investing his money in bad real estate or bad bonds, he should have sought out for a person who is succeeding or making money in real estate or stock investing. So now Bob is broke and only has around $500 in the bank, and in the moment of misery, he conjures up a plan to make up for the money he lost and get a little more on the side. Bob plans to go to a casino, bet on a couple of games and make back the money he lost. He is sure and certain he can make back the money he lost. Which brings me to the 5th law of gold. Law number 5. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investments. In Bob's attempt to make back the money he lost, he thought the fastest way to make it back was to gamble. Although very rarely some people do make a lot of money gambling, it was far from being Bob's lucky day. My friend Bob learned a very important lesson, that there is no quick way to become rich. The lessons our card told his friends are the premise of the book, and they are the premise of the wealth building habits that I believe every rich person has followed to accumulate their wealth. Hi, this is Lukxury with K. I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now you might ask, why should I? Well, every week I'll post a new video focusing on helping you become a better entrepreneur. You will be challenged, you will be inspired, and you will be motivated. More importantly, you will get practical ideas and strategies that will take your business and life to the next level. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single episode, and click on the video on the bottom that I have personally selected for you. I promise you.